Hey there. I didn't expect to be online so fast, but internet issues were resolved, at least hopefully. So, back to normal. I expect to be out for a little bit longer, and surprised more of you guys weren't disappointed in that, by the way. But, okay. This is actually going to be a video response to a great video done by Drunken Film School about the Nolan Batman films. I'm going to give a different perspective on it. And everybody knows me as the guy that's kind of outspoken about the Nolan films. I'm going to say why, but before I do, I did get one thing come from eBay that my better half got me before Christmas and just came through today. Well, not today, yesterday. I think I put it on my Google Plus today or the day before, and that is the Full Moon's Grind News Collection. This is a Zombie-thon, which is a cool zombie clip one, Film Gore, self-explanatory, and Savage Island, which I'll probably do a review of because it's so cheesy it's fun. Anyway, the last time I came on, I talked about the Batman films, and I talked about them individually. And I talked about the Burton ones, the Schumacher ones. Now I want to get into the Nolan ones. Why I'm not such a fan. Now, I do acknowledge that Nolan is a great filmmaker. Christopher Nolan is a fantastic filmmaker. I loved much of his work. And the Batman films are fairly well-made films. But I'm going to kind of do like a comparison to something else. If you were I don't know, if you were a wrestling fan at any time, or you were like a real fan of wrestling, and you watch a lot of it that's done today, and the stuff that's brought in to bring casual viewers in, you kind of groan because you're like, oh, so much better than this. That's kind of the way that I feel when I watch the Nolan Batman films. Oh, it's so much better than this. The source material is so much better than this. And here's the thing, I gotta say, Nolan's Batman films were needed. I may not be the greatest fan of Nolan's Batman films, but you know what? They were needed to help get these type of films where they are today. And you may not get a lot of my gripes if you're not a fan of the comics and the source material, but if you're going in to see a movie and the name Batman is on it, I think it's fair to expect certain things. Now, I've got to start off by saying I was a huge Christian Bale fan. I still am a fan of Christian Bale. I think he's a damn good actor. American Psycho was an incredible film and it fit him to a T. Batman didn't. Batman was the worst casted role in the Batman franchise, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more. He never, when asked why he does that voice, which is the Richter voice, and I don't want to dwell too much on that. That was a horrible choice. Everybody knows it. Even the fans of the series know that. He said that that's the only way he could act with the suit on. Really? That's the best you could do with the suit on? Well, absolutely everybody before you could do it better with the suit on. Even George Clooney, who was in the worst written Batman film ever made, could get it a little bit more. And George Clooney, trust me, when he was making that movie, you can tell he is walking through getting his check. He still did a better job with the suit on than you did. You weren't realistic as Batman. And you weren't realistic as Bruce Wayne. A lot of people tend to praise his Bruce Wayne, but most of those people never read the comics or watched the shows or any. They just have a perception of what they think Bruce Wayne should be from, I don't know, from what they assume from like a little thing. Oh, it's a millionaire who dresses like a bat, and that's it. It's a lot more than that. And if you go back to the Burton movies, you get it. Michael Keaton went into this role not looking like like anybody would expect Bruce Wayne to look. And he didn't need to, because he had that aspect of knowing how to get into a character without having to use some huge amount of explanation or expository. He could do it. He could be the character just by looking, just by taking off his glasses, or making one pained expression or two. You didn't have to have a huge backstory to find out that he was a messed up character, that there was something deeper there. Christian Bale's Batman and Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne are very surface portrayals of the character. There's nothing deeper than what you see. It's like what you see is what you get with him. It's like changing the voices, his aspect of changing his personality, which really doesn't. That's really not the way it is. I'll tell you right now, the best portrayal of Batman and Bruce Wayne ever done was in Batman the Animated Series. And if you haven't seen that, well, shame on you, for one, because you don't go into a Batman movie and not having seen the best source material that's out there. That's just wrong. I don't care if you ever read a comic book or not. Batman the Animated Series was one of the best shows that was ever made, animated or not. So if you haven't seen that, shame on you. If you're young or like you're 20 or something like that, I can get it. But still, there's, this is 2013. No, 2014 now, so get with it. If you want to keep watching Batman, if you want to see why Joseph Gordon-Levitt just gets that a little bit better, that's because more than likely, likely, it's a known fact that Joseph Gordon-Levitt reads comics. He knows comics, and that's why he's doing the Sandman. Now, other portrayals in the films. Gary Oldman was spot on, perfect for Commissioner Gordon. He did an amazing job, and I cannot fault that acting or portrayal or casting at all. All across the board. One thing I can fault in all the movies, and Leroy Green actually makes a great point here, is that Gotham looked like it was going to become the Gotham from the films. In the first movie, there's aspects of that more gothic, more kind of gritty style that Gotham was supposed to have. That not a place that you'd ever really want to be, but still majestic, and it looked to be going there. And in the next two movies, it just got really, really lazy. Basic Chicago. No attempt at making Gotham a character in the story. And Gotham, the city, is very much a character in the Batman mythos. In all other forms of Batman, Gotham is pretty much its own character. And, I gotta say, Tim Burton did it best, and even better than that was when they took the Tim Burton aspects and put it into Batman the Animated Series. Let's go through the villains. Because let's not go through the Katie Holmes, Maggie Gyllenhaal. For me, those characters weren't well done, and they were kind of interchangeable, but that was Batman girls, and that's the way they do a lot of Batman females, so I'm not going to really go on that, because we can go back and talk about weak performances in the other Batman films as well for female characters. They just weren't placed in well. The Scarecrow. I love Cillian Murphy as an actor. He was perfectly cast. My better half couldn't have said it better when she said he was the perfect job for the Scarecrow. Why didn't he have the suit? And people go along like, oh, well, they're just trying to be more realistic. It actually makes it less realistic when you go along that way. There's nothing realistic about a guy dressing up as a bat going and fighting the Joker and guys like the Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul can come back from the dead. You can forget that. Stop that crap. Oh, it's more realistic stuff. That's an excuse. It's a crutch. Obviously, when he started to ride along Gotham in a tank, Batmobile called the Tumbler, well, you could take the realism aspect out the window. When the Joker shows up, not acting like the Joker, we'll get to that. You can take the realism aspect out the window. When Ra's al Ghul comes back from the dead, because, you can do that, it's Lazarus Pits, guys. Just so, if you haven't read comics, Lazarus Pits. So we're making Batman more realistic for the viewers is bullshit. He took aspects of film noir, something that Christopher Nolan loved a lot, and added it into Batman to try and gain a more mainstream audience, but it wasn't realistic. None of it's realistic. Bane, not realistic. What happens in the third movie, completely unrealistic. Bane turning into a wussy at the end of the movie? What the hell? Joker. Heath Ledger, great actor. Heath Ledger's Joker, great character. Joker, not for me. It's not my generation's Joker. Maybe they're going to turn that more towards the way the Joker is going to be now, but in the comics up to that point, that wasn't the Joker. But again, you can put that off for one thing. Heath Ledger was getting there. This could have been the genesis of the Joker. Here's the problem. We will never know if Heath Ledger could do a full-on Jack Nicholson comic book era-esque Joker, because Heath Ledger was supposed to be in the third film, but Heath Ledger passed away. And I'm sure that Heath Ledger would have knocked it out of the park. Knocked it out of the park completely. We would have seen the complete full-on genesis of the Joker out of the comic books. It would have been one of those things that Nolan would have gotten right. Willing to bet he read a couple graphic novels and was very lazy about his background research on comics. That's what I'm thinking. Michael Caine. I love Michael Caine. I get what he did. You can't beat Michael Gough as Alfred. He pretty much personified the role. So he wanted to go in a completely different way to make Alfred seem more, not more realistic. I'm not going to go with that because that's bullshit. But I love Michael Caine, so I can deal with that. Now, Catwoman, decent. Michelle Pfeiffer is still the Catwoman of all of them, but she did okay. She didn't blow me away. She was not great. Tom Hardy is okay. Talia, I saw that coming like a mile away. If you'd ever known who Talia was. That's like Ra's al Ghul. Some people call Ra's al Ghul, by the way. It's like some. If you'd ever written or read a Batman comic in your entire life that had Ra's in it, then there's no surprise in Liam Neeson becoming Ra's. Just zero. Cillian Murphy, for me, stole the show in Batman Begins. I find it ironic that he spent a lot of time with Batman learning martial arts and then stuck him in a costume where, let's face it, go back and watch the movie again. You don't actually see Batman really doing that much. It's kind of waist up sort of thing, you know what I mean? The films brought people back into watching superhero films and watching Batman, and that's great. But I hope people go back and see the original films and watch the Batman the Animated Series and read the comics. And don't just go read The Killing Joke and think you know what the hell Batman is, because you don't. There's a lot more to the character than that. Don't go find yourself the Denny Neil Adams era Batman. Grab a couple graphics with the whole, those big ones with the whole thing, and what do you call this again? DC Presents or something like Showcase. They're black and white, so you get to see artwork done really well. Read the comics, see what's going on in Batman, see what Batman's actually about. The movies, they did what they're supposed to do. Kudos to Nolan for that. Are the true representations of Batman as I think it should be done? No. That has yet to be done. And now about the newest Batman, Ben Affleck. Well, for anybody who wonders about that, rewatch or reread The Dark Knight Returns. I think that's where they're going with it. Thanks for watching, and I'm finally back, and there's some more videos coming up. I got TV animation, I got some other stuff to tell you about, and I just finished watching American Horror Story Asylum finally. And I gotta say, when there's crap on TV like Hannibal that's getting rave reviews, and it's just a basic procedural with a little bit of a gimmick, and there's genius stuff on like American Asylum, there's something wrong with some viewing audience. Thanks for watching, guys, and for me right now, came back with controversy. It's time for tea.